Most people lose the battle long before they ever begin, not because they are weak, not because they lack talent, but because their mind has never been trained. Today you're going to hear the story of a young man named Darius, a man who learned painfully that the greatest enemy you will ever face is the enemy living inside your own head. If you've struggled with procrastination, if you've battled self-doubt, if you ever felt stuck in life, this story may be the push you've been waiting for. Darius wakes up late again. The sun is already high in the sky. His alarm, still ringing from the floor, vibrates weakly against the wood. He opens his eyes and looks around his room. Clothes scattered everywhere, books tossed on the ground, his desk buried under things he promised himself he'd fix tomorrow. He sits on the edge of his bed, exhausted, not from work, but from constantly letting himself down. He whispers, "Why can't I control my mind?" He isn't lazy. He isn't weak. He's simply lost in the war inside his own head, a war he never learned to fight. Later that morning, Darius walks outside to clear his thoughts. The air is cool. The world feels calm. He sits alone on a quiet park bench, and across the path he sees them. People running, consistent, disciplined, focused. Something about them bothers him. Not jealousy, but a question. What makes them different from me? As he sits there lost in thought, an old man walks over and sits right beside him, as if fate placed him there. The old man glances at Darius, as if he can clearly see the storm inside him. After a moment of silence, the old man says, "Your mind is like a wild horse. If you don't train it, it will throw you off every single time." Darius looks up surprised by the stranger's accuracy. The old man continues, "Discipline is not something you do once. It's something you become. It is the quiet decision you make every day to do what your feelings do not want to do." Darius asks softly, "But how do I start?" The old man smiles gently. "You start with one small promise, and you keep it. Then another, and that is how you discipline the mind." Please, friends, if you're getting value in this video, kindly give a like, subscribe, and share to others. Thank you. Now let's get back to the story. That night, Darius sits on his bed, thinking about the old man's words, and for the first time in a long time, he decides to make one small promise. Tomorrow, he will wake up early. It sounds simple, but for Darius, it's a battle against comfort, against old habits, against the voice that always says, "Just a few more minutes." The next morning, before the sun rises, his alarm rings, and he forces himself out of bed, not because he wants to, but because he promised himself he would. Then he makes another promise. "I will make my bed." So he makes it, carefully, neatly, slowly, training his mind through the smallest act. The next day, another promise, a short run. His legs burn, his lungs ache, but he keeps moving. Then another promise, read a few pages of a book. Feed the mind, strengthen the inner voice that tells him he can become more. Day after day, promise after promise, the discipline begins to grow. Weeks pass. Slowing, quietly, Darius changes. His room becomes cleaner. His thoughts become clearer. His body grows stronger. And his mind, for the first time in years, feels like it's under his control. He begins to understand something powerful. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is freedom. Freedom from guilt. Freedom from procrastination. freedom from the version of you that keeps holding you back. One morning, he looks into the mirror and he doesn't see the lost boy he once was. He sees a man who kept his promises, a man who fought the inner war and won. If this story has inspired you, like, subscribe, and share. And tell me in the comments, what did you learn today? I'll see you in the next video.